But once you do have that acquired taste and you know how to drink Scotch, I think you're going to love the taste of it, and you're going to really enjoy it.
And it's hard to stop.
And then you become an alcoholic. Hey everybody, welcome back to Simple Diversion. I'm Graham.
I'm Rob.
And today we have a great show for you. We're going to talk about how to drink Scotch.
How do you drink Scotch?
I don't know, but we're going to find out.
All right. Before you drink Scotch, you need to know what Scotch is and where it comes from.
Some say Scotch is the epitome of sophistication. So just by drinking it, you're going to look smarter.
Oh, yeah.
And you're going to be smarter,
I feel
think,
smarter.
too. The process that goes into making Scotch and the hard work that goes into it is really quite interesting. I urge you guys to look it up sometime. It is an acquired taste, just like beer, just like anything else. But I feel like once you do learn to acquire the taste, you're gonna love it, and you're gonna respect all the flavors that come in a Scotch.
I know it took me a while to kind of dig my teeth in. Or what did Ryan say? Cut your teeth, right?
So that leads us to our first topic. What are the two types of Scotches? Now, Scotch is from Scotland, like we just talked about.
Right.
You know, whiskey is from all over the world, but Scotch, Scotland. We have two types. We have a single malt.
Did William Wallace like Scotch? He's from Scotland, wasn't he?
He was from Scotland.
He probably liked Scotch. He probably knew a lot about it.
He probably bathed in it.
He probably did. Probably brushed his teeth in it.
Wikipedia, I'm sure we can find out.
Yeah.
So the first is going to be single malt and then blended whiskey or blended Scotch. Now, a single malt is going to be made from 100% water and barley. It's going to be aged in oak casks for at least 3 years, and all the juices or the liquids that are in a Scotch are going to be from the same distillery. Or, you know, they could be from a different batch, but it'll be the same distillery. So Macallan 12 could have something the same from a Macallan 18.
Okay.
The age comes from the youngest whiskey that presents itself in that Scotch. So if you have a 12, that's going to be the youngest, liquid in that is going to be 12 years old. That's pretty cool.
Wow, that is awesome.
I would recommend, to newcomers out there that they would try something that's going to be a little bit sweeter and smooth as opposed to the peaty flavors.
Yeah. That's
going to be something that you want to dig into when your palate is a little bit more seasoned.
Would you recommend them going for something more pure or blended?
That's up for debate. You can do either one. I would just make sure it's more of a sweeter, smoother flavor going down, because a new Scotch drinker that tastes peat isn't going to respect it for what it is, and it might actually turn them off to the flavors. It's something that you have to also learn about and acquire.
Right.
And it actually gets really, really deep flavors in peaty whiskey.
Oh, yeah.
So.
Blended Scotch is a mix of single malt Scotch and grain whiskey found across Scotland.
And you know what? Up until the 1970s, the U.S. didn't even have a single malt Scotch.
Right.
It was all blended.
Right. And some distilleries will actually sell their whiskey to help make these blends.
The ultimate question is, what's better, a single malt Scotch or a blended Scotch?
I guess it depends who you are.
It depends who you are, depends who you ask.
Right.
It's all going to be opinion, what flavors you like the best. I'm going to lean towards a single malt Scotch just because all of my favorite ones are going to be single malt.
Right. Well, I know too that single malt, Scotch is actually more expensive typically compared to the blended. Blended is usually a lot cheaper.
You are going to get a little bit better quality out of the single malts than you would the blended, but you are going to pay for that. You got to take that in consideration too when you're looking at purchasing. But I would just urge you guys to try both of them and come up with your own opinion. And don't be one of those snobs that just drinks the single malt because that's the top of the line. Try stuff out and form your own opinion.
There are some blended Scotches out there that actually cost a lot.
There are.
Which is why a lot of the purists won't go out and buy the Johnnie Walker Blue Label or some similar things like that, because what's the point of spending, $170 on something that is not pure?
Sure.
You'll find that the flavor of the Scotch is actually different depending on what region you find the Scotch or where the Scotch is made in Scotland.
And there's going to be 6 regions in Scotland that the Scotch is from.
Right.
And those are Lowland. And this is going to give you light-bodied, gentle, malty flavors. And then a couple of the scotches that are most common are going to be Rosebank and Glenkinchie. I believe there's only a few distilleries open in the lowlands right now.
Another region is Highland, which usually is firm, spicy, dry, and sweet. Some examples of that are Delmore, Glengoyne, and Oban.
Then you have Speyside, of course, which comes up with some of the great ones as well. This is going to be more sweet, mellow, often fruity. So here you got the Balvenie, Glenlivet, Macallan, Glenfiddich. Great ones right there.
There's also Islay, which we've talked about in a previous video. Which is usually heavily peated, smoky, spindrift, and examples of that are Lagavulin and Ardbeg.
And Laphroaig. Then we also have Campbelltown, which is medium to full bodies, peaty and briny. And then a couple examples of this would be Springbank, Longrow, and Glen Scotia.
And then we have the islands, which have a charcoal flavor. Examples would be Highland Park, Jorah, and Talisker.
Next thing we got to talk about is age of Scotch. Does age really matter when looking at a Scotch? Well, we talked about it has to be aged at least 3 years.
Right.
But as something ages, for the most part, it's going to get better with time. And the reason why is because they're aged in these oak casks and they're porous. So when it's just sitting in there, it's, you know, the wood are mingling with the Scotch, and, you know, you're getting these great flavors that are, you know, enriching the profile. So for the majority of its life while being stored, it's going to be in one cask, and it's going to just age and mature, and then it's going to be moved to a second cask, which is going to be for about 6 to 12 months, and it's going to get even different flavors from that. Sometimes people say anything 12 and above is worth buying, but you know, you got like Ardbeg 10-year, which is a great Scotch. Laphroaig has a 10-year.
There's an 8-year somewhere.
Lagavulin has an 8-year.
There it is.
That's great. 8 years is typically the shortest amount of time that you want to age. All right, so now that we got through kind of a little bit of history and what about Scotch,
Rundown.
now how do we drink it? Well, first you need a glass and a bottle of Scotch.
Right.
We have both.
And
of
we
those.
have both of those. We also have the nose glasses, which help out a lot.
Yeah, and you can use any glass you want, but a nosing glass, and it's going to be this tulip-shaped glass, is going to be great for sticking your schnoz in there and taking a big sniff.
Brings out more of an aroma.
You know, you can twirl it around a little bit in these glasses. Some other glasses, you're not able to do that. And by doing this, you're going to just kind of let the flavors come out. You know, we talked about it in our previous video. You can let it sit for a little bit and let the aromas kind of build up. I go in for a sniff. And for the most part, on the first sniff, you're going to get a lot of alcohol.
Yeah.
So then we want to take a step back, let your senses kind of settle and rest. Then you're going to go back in, have another whiff, take deep breaths. And then you're going to start to maybe pick up some different flavors. And you want to do this for maybe 3 times. The hello, how are you? Very well, thank you. So with this Balvenie, I'm getting floral notes. A little bit of caramel. Sweetness.
I'm getting a lot of sweetness.
You know, so we're gonna
Almost
get
like
those.
sugar.
Yeah, we're gonna get those aromas first.
Right. So now when you taste the Scotch, what you want to do is you just want
This is my favorite part, by the way.
Oh.
I just want to throw that in there.
So when you taste the Scotch, you just want to make sure that you just pour just enough on your tongue so you can taste it. It's not too strong, not too heavy. And then kind of chew it.
Yep. Get it all on every part of your tongue so you can get all the flavors.
Don't chew the way that I've done in the past. You know, just kind of
swirl it a little bit. Not like Listerine either, but just get it.
Just kind of splash
over
a little
your
bit
tongue.
in your mouth, yeah. So you can, right over your tongue. After that, you want to swallow it. And then you want to breathe out.
So open your mouth just a little bit.
Right.
Just let it out. You know, and then, concentrate.
You're fine.
Concentrate on what
This
taste
is your
you're
favorite
getting.
part. You concentrate on the taste that you're getting, and then I like to breathe back in, inhale, and then I get those flavors that are still left in my tongue once more.
Enough talking about it. Let's do it.
Cheers.
Cheers, everybody. And
I find myself that I kind of curl my tongue up and kind of squeeze it with my tongue.
still those floral notes, a little bit of burnt caramel. Finish is lingering.
It is. But it's not a bad finish.
No, it's good.
Yeah.
Sometimes I love a finish to be there for minutes after.
Sometimes the finish is my favorite part. And Graham, I know your favorite part is tasting it, so make sure you savor that finish.
Yep. Yeah, and just, you know, the more you do this, the more flavors you're gonna start to pick up. Read about the flavors beforehand and see if you get those same ones.
Right. And it'll help your palate mature a lot too, once you get the hang of it.
Another thing that you can do is just add a splash of water to enhance the flavors as well. Typically, Rob and I, we don't do this too often.
I like drinking it neat.
But you can add just a little bit of water, like a teaspoon. They say it's better to add too little than too much, because if you add too much, you're gonna dilute the flavors, and then you're just gonna get that water.
Kind of like if you put ice in it.
Another way to drink it though is to splash a little bit of water in, and then again, nose it like you normally would, and do the same thing repeatedly how we just did, and see if you get any different flavors. The other thing you want to try to avoid doing is using ice in your scotch. You're paying all this money for a great drink. Yeah. You know, and by putting ice
especially
in,
for a $65 bottle of.
Yeah, and what you're doing with ice is you're chilling it too much, and then you're watering it down, you're diluting it. Now you can do that if that's what you like to do. You know, again, that's fine, but they say you should try not to do that because it does take away from the flavors. What you can use instead though is the whiskey stones. Those just put right into the freezer.
They warm up.
And they won't chill it as much as ice either. It just gets a little bit colder. I prefer doing that once in a while, but most of the time I don't even use whiskey stones and just drink it neat.
Keep this in mind, everybody. Once you open up the bottle, actually only lasts about a year, because then the alcohol starts turning into more of a vinegar.
That's what they say.
Yeah.
I've had a couple bottles that have gone over a year and I didn't notice anything. And I know my buddy Brian has had some for a couple years, and he doesn't ever say anything bad about doing that. But, you know, just something that we've heard, keep in mind. About a year shelf life. Once you open it, if you don't break the seal, it's good forever. As long as you keep it within the proper temperatures that it needs to be held at, which is 60 to 70 degrees.
Yeah.
Keep it out of the sun as well. This was just a little bit of a story on how to drink scotch and how to get the most flavors. There's no real right or wrong reason. Everybody's got their own way of doing things, but this is just a way that we've always been taught on how to get the most out of it.
Yeah. Try the blended, try the single malt, you know, try them out differently, whether it's with a splash of water or drinking it neat. Let us know what you think down in the comments.
We're gonna be busy filming more tonight.
Oh yeah.
So don't wait up for us. We got a couple Highland Park videos coming, which we're really excited about, so keep an eye out for those.
All right, Highland Park 12 and 15. Make sure you like and subscribe if you haven't yet. 50! We are at 50 subscribers, and we have no one else to thank but you guys, so thank you very much.
Yeah, please spread the word. Again, we want to do a community here, and just keep growing with you guys, you know, and pushing you guys to get better. We hope you push us to get better as well.
Absolutely. So give us some pointers down in the comments, and as always,
see you soon, guys.
See you soon.